Hey guys, welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. My name is Nicolette Mashile, also known as the Financial Bunny. So today I want to move into episode 2 of my business coaching series, right? So I've said I'm going to do this. I know that it's taken a while for me to push out this next video, but I really wanted to get into a space where I start exploring other different business ventures, because as many of you may have known, I started off doing a brokerage type of a business when I was still a bit younger, and I was placing sports coaches into different schools so that, that they're able to coach. And then I moved into the more creator, digital creation type of business. So this year I decided, you know what? I am looking for a business that's not determined or dependent, rather is the right word that I'm looking for, that is not dependent on brands coming to the party. So we needed to create our own properties, whether it's products, or I needed to totally go into a totally different business. So I did both of them because also I am a bit of a workaholic, and I thought, you know what, I can do everything. So I went into, of course, the gin business, and I created a gin. Although this gin had been coming for the last, I think, 4 years. One of the biggest businesses that we then went into was a boutique, which is a clothing shop. And what we sell there is fast fashion clothes for women only, right? And that was supposed to be the business that was going to kind of generate that steady flow of income so that certain things in my life are paid for. It doesn't always work out the way you think it's going to work out, and I've had a couple of learnings as I was going in this. But today I specifically want to focus on the second part of running or starting a business, or determining whether or not you've got a good business idea, right? So in the last video, we spoke about the 5 parts of a business. The first one, of course, is, do you have a product that speaks to a need or a want that people are willing to pay money for if they find the solution? So that is one, solve a problem. So value creation, right? It's important to understand that you've got to ask yourself, the market that I'm trying to service, does it actually need this thing that I want to offer them? Right? So let's go back to the first video I did in the beginning of the year. I did a couple of business ideas. One of them was a mobile car wash, or a call-out car wash. I can't remember what I actually called it in that video. And basically, this is a car wash that the people who wash your car come out either to your house or to your office park or wherever you are parked and wash your car. Now, why would people need this type of a service? It's either people are very busy and they just don't have time to go to the car wash. Some people just don't feel comfortable. Some people feel like a car wash is a waste of time because you got to sit there for an hour and doing absolutely nothing while waiting for your car to be washed. Whereas you do find customers who actually find the process of going to a car wash as a far more leisurable process. So they love going to the car wash. So that's not your customer base, because they don't have a problem that you are solving. The problem that you are solving is for those people who feel either they are way too busy, or secondly, they just do not want to sit there while you're washing their car and do absolutely nothing. So the creation of value that you are creating is for this specific customer base, right? Great. People are willing to pay for somebody to come out and wash their car. I mean, we've seen people willing to come out, to pay for someone to come out and do their hair, for someone to come out and fix an appliance instead of taking the appliance all the way to the workshop, or somebody who comes out to do your nails. So we've seen that call out fees, makeup artists sometimes, people call out for makeup artists. So we've seen that people are willing to pay out a call out fee for all of those types of processes or those types of businesses, especially if the need exists. The second one is, you need to market yourself, because you need to create a demand for your product or your service. So how do you market? The reality is you've got to look at the customer base. So for instance, if I'm talking about a call-out car wash or mobile car wash, chances are the customer also kind of looks like me, right? I'm somebody who's busy. I am the customer for that type of a business. You're busy, you don't have time, you need to make use of, or you need to make best use of your time. So therefore, that customer looks like me. Then I've got to ask myself, if I was Nicolette, where would I want to see this kind of advert? Where would I want to see this kind of information? How else can I communicate that I am now offering this service? So word of mouth is going to be an absolutely big one. The second one is office parks. You got to go and drop off some flyers or ask them if they've got an intranet. Can you advertise on their intranet? And of course, social media. So you've got to create the buzz, right? So that there is a demand for what it is that you are putting out there, right? The next thing that you've got to do is sales. So turning the prospective customer into a paying customer. Now, this one is where it gets a little bit tricky because if a person is going to be a customer, they're going to be a customer unless you piss them off, right? So how do you piss people off so that they don't buy from you? One, things like DM for prices. Excuse me, if your product is 100 roses that you are selling, just put the price of the 100 roses. If your product is mobile car wash, just put the price of a mobile car wash. The more you start hiding things is the more you start compromising step number 4 or part number 4, which is value delivery. So when we see you look like you are hiding prices, then there's something wrong. That's number 1. The second way you can piss people off is what I did or what kind of happened with me. So when my kiddies books was actually released, it wasn't even released. It actually was prematurely released because one of the stakeholders that wanted a meeting with us with the books to see what the books are about wanted to do a photo op. And we agreed to the photo op and we agreed for them posting. But the problem is the moment they posted, which is the marketing, we got an influx of demand. Now, the problem with the influx of demand was that we could not turn it into actual paying customers because our sales channels were not ready. So our e-commerce platform was not ready. Our distribution channels were not ready. So exclusive books, bargain books, all didn't have the books. So when people went into exclusive books and bargain books and asked for Coco the Money Bunny books, then the guys were like, we don't have those books. Or when they went onto my e-commerce channel, they found the books, but it just looked all shady. It doesn't look like this person is actually selling books. But most importantly, it also compromised on the next step, which is the 4th step, and I'll tell you a little bit about it, right? The next step is value delivery. So now I'm sitting with some people who did trust me enough to become prospective paying customers. So they've paid now, right? So this person has paid, they've booked on the system to come and get their, or for you to come and wash their car. When you get there, you now wash the car, you drive the car, but you don't polish the tires. So what they think they paid for is not what they're getting. And in most cases, they've paid already. So you wash their car. They're sitting in their office. You wash the car. You come back. You tell them the car is washed. They don't even come down to actually inspect the car. You leave. And then a few hours later, you get a call to say, but why didn't you polish the tires? Because on your communication, you did not put in the exclusions. So the value delivery is now compromised. I'll give you an example of how we compromise the value delivery. So we now have this influx of people buying the books, but the problem is we don't have enough stock. And the printer takes almost 6 weeks to print. So when the person buys the book and when the delivery is supposed to happen, and remember, the delivery is not necessarily the actual product or the service. It's the value that they bought. So for instance, we had a customer who bought the books for their daughter or son, and it was for the birthday. The birthday wasn't a specific date. Now, if the books don't get there on the date that this person is expecting them on, then we've compromised on the value delivery. So part of you delivering your product, your service goes with when do you deliver? How do you deliver? All of those things are very important. And then the last but not least one, that is probably the most important one, is how do you price? A lot of us get stuck in this thing where we think we must price for competitors. Yes, your competitors are a good way for you to price. But ultimately what you need to do is you need to be able to create a margin for yourself. The margin is basically your profitability. Because many people think that they can just, if they sell a lot of stuff, if for instance we sell 100 books, but if the profit we're making is less than 2%, then it doesn't encourage us to want to do it again. But that doesn't mean that you must scam your customers and now want to earn 100% profit. Right? So there is room for how much, what is the highest amount that you are or are able to charge somebody that is calling out a mobile car wash or somebody that's buying a kiddies book. Right? So, and I'll give you an example. So when the kiddies books got advertised and they were all over, and we went to the printer and said, we need to print this amount of books. They gave us a printing cost of 315 per unit cost. It was just not working. Because how much can I possibly charge a client on a 24-page hardcover book. Clients, one, don't know the cost of hardcover. Two, they don't know the cost of illustration. So essentially, the cost of producing is now exceeding the price or the highest price I'm able to charge. So I have to now find a way around this. It's the same thing if you have a mobile car wash and you say my call-out fee is 350, but to wash the car is 120. Now I'm sitting there and I'm like, I must pay 470 just to get my car washed. I might as well drive to the car wash at this point or wash the car myself. So your pricing is important because your pricing will ultimately either bring back repeated customers, and another very important part of your pricing is that it will make you wake up tomorrow and do the same process again. So we say, because you can sell a lot of books at, let's say the unit cost is 100 Rand. I can sell a lot of books at 100 Rand and break even and make no money. But am I guaranteed that I'll do it again? And I can sell 1,000. Because the saying goes, revenue is vanity, but your profit is your actual sanity. And you need to focus on making a profit so that you can wake up tomorrow and do it again. So that's basically the part of a business. But let's go back to step number 1, which is value creation. Where is this customer whose problems you are trying to solve? Because often we love saying, just solve a problem, right? But the reality is, I sit as Nicolette, I've got many problems. I have problems with cooking. I don't like cooking. I have problems washing my car. I can tell you my car only gets washed when it's going for service. Right now, my other problem is gas. It's been winter now. I'm glad winter is going out because just refilling the gas irritates me. You know, like it's one of the things, Jay, in life that just does not make me happy. I want someone else to do it. My house is basically breaking down. I need a handyman. And I've spoken about this so many times. It's not a joke. It's a real thing. Do you understand? But just because I have those needs doesn't mean the market is big enough for someone to create a solution for me. Do you get what I'm saying? Just because I have a problem with a specific thing and I think, I can create a business idea in this space, doesn't necessarily think the market is sizable enough for me to create a business around the solution. Your solution may be fantastic solution, but is the market sizable enough? And that's the next part of a business that you need to focus on, is determining the market and whether the market is ready for the business that you want to start. So I would say step number 1 is, how urgent do they need what it is that you are putting out into the market? There are certain businesses that are urgent and certain businesses that are not urgent. How urgent is the solution needed in the market or the customer base that you are trying to service? The second one is, what is the market size? Because in as much as it may be very urgent for Nicolette to get somebody who can come and cook meals for her every single day, it might just be out of 10 households on one street, it might be one person. Or out of a sample size of 10,000 people, it may just be 10 people. So you've got to do the market research to understand who is willing to pay for the service. How big is the market? And if you were to generalize the market size, you will get a better understanding of how many customers you could potentially get. The next one you've got to think about is what is the highest price that you can possibly charge for your good or your service? So again, you must not cross the line where somebody ends up saying, actually, it's not worth it to get this good or this service. So I see it a lot in the influencer space that I'm in, right? Where I will get asked to be an MC and I'll give them my rate. And sometimes for that specific client, my rate is just too much. Yes, they've got a need. They've got an event that's coming up. They want a seasoned MC. But the reality is when they acquire a Nicolette, it becomes just too expensive. Now it doesn't make any sense for them to actually bring this person in because the event now is costing them 10, 20, 30% more than what they would have wanted to spend or what they've budgeted to spend. So it's the same thing with the car wash. If you are going to cost me 470 to wash my car, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? Weekend, I will go with my book and I'll go sit at the car wash. I'll read while someone washes my car. But what I'm not going to pay is 470. It's the same sometimes with makeup artists. You're just like, you know what? I'd rather just do my own makeup. Because the makeup artist will say 500 Rand call out fee, makeup is 750. And now you're looking at the price and you're like, it does not make sense for me to spend so much money on makeup. So I'll rather just do my own makeup, or I'll go to somewhere where they can do my makeup for me, where either I'm getting my hair at the same time done and my makeup. Or let me go sit at Edgar's and get my makeup done for free. The next one is cost of acquisition. How much is it costing me to get a customer and turn them into a paying customer? So how much is it costing me, or how much will it cost me to market, get the demand, get the customer, and then turn them? So this is all now your marketing strategy, your marketing process, your social media, your posting, your graphic designer, your digital person that's going to help you, plus the sales channels that you're going to use. How much does the payment gate, whether it's Yoko, PayFast, or also how much does it cost you to acquire just one customer to be able to get the product or the service? How quickly can you go to market? How quickly can you go to market? Speed of going to market is as important as making sure that you've got a good proposition. Because for instance, with the gin, hello, speed to market, 0. How many gins are currently in this country? I missed it. I missed the window where everybody was going to market with a new gin. So now I need to go back to my unique selling points and make my gin extraordinarily different. But the extra that I need to add must be an extra that people are willing to actually pay for, or willing to stop and say, actually, these gins that we've been drinking, they might as well be gins to wash car tires. But this Anasa gin has got something different. Or you know what? When I drink this Anasa gin, I'm getting a premium gin experience at a non-premium price. Or actually, when I wake up in the morning after drinking Anasa, I feel good. Or you know what? This Anasa, the taste is not bad. So you don't need a lot of dash. So you're not wasting too much money buying your tonics, your orange juice, your dry lemon, because actually you don't need a lot of dash. So it's about finding that uniqueness now to try and push a product that took too long to get into market. So it's important to think about that because it will help you in shaping your business. The next one that you've got to think about is, what are your upfront costs? So what is the upfront investment that you need to make to be able to get this thing into market? So let's say, for instance, you want to write books for children. You need, for instance, someone who can write a story. You need an editor. You need an illustrator. You need a printer. You need a typesetter. And then you need marketing, and you need point of sale, or at least a selling platform or a way to sell. So and then you need delivery of when you get the product. So what is the upfront cost that once you have paid it, it becomes easier for you to be able to run your business? So that's another part of the market that you need to understand, and the product that you're trying to put out into the market. Because let's say, for instance, you want to do this, but your market is sitting somewhere in Mpumalanga. What is the upfront cost for you to do all that you're doing in Johannesburg, but making sure that you are selling and delivering to a market that sits in Mpumalanga? The next one, upsell potential. What is my upsell potential? Let me give you an example. So when I started doing this, I did financial content on YouTube and on Facebook. Started conversation. I used to call myself the conversation starter in finance. So we'll start these conversations. Great stuff. Then I needed, because brands were paying me to do that, I needed an upsell. An upsell is what other extra things can you do that will make you money. So my additional one was one-on-one coaching, writing books. These are now upsell opportunities that I can still resell to the same audience and the same market that already enjoys my content. I can now sell them other stuff. So I'm now creating an opportunity for myself to be able to cross-sell on product or services. So then I can now MC. I can now be a speaker. I do my content. I can create digital products. I can create real products. I've created a game. I've created an animation series. I've created a book series for kids. That is your upsell potential. And the last one is evergreen. Can you create a product that can be evergreen? It's not seasonal, or a service that's not seasonal, that is something people need and want and use. And once you've paid the upfront cost, it just sells itself. Similar to when you're selling clothes. The upfront cost is setting up your shop, setting up your e-commerce site, setting up your social media pages, paying everybody to do all of that, your shop fittings, your stock. But once you've got all of that, that's your big upfront cost. Once you've got all of that, then the cost is just now a more operational cost for you to keep the business running, but you're getting clients and customers and transactions and sales every single month. Now, you take each one of those and you score it out of 10 and you get a score. Then you take the score out of 10 and you get a score out of 100 because there's 10 of these things. Whatever your score is will indicate to you whether you are ready to go out into a specific market with your business idea. In essence, it tells you if you've got a good business idea or not. All of this information was, of course, derived from the book, The Personal MBA by Josh Kaufman. So it is not my content. I've just explained some of the content to you. I hope that this has been valuable, and I'll leave it at this. Please do remember none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are, however, looking for financial advice, please be somebody who's certified and registered with the FSCA. I'll see you guys on the next one.